currently ranked number 428 on the Fortune 500. We are America's leading builder of luxury homes. Company has been in business since 1967, and we became a public company in 1986. This most recent fiscal year, we reported revenues of $7.1 billion, and we closed over 8,000 homes in 26 states. We serve a whole host of clientele, everybody from traditional move-up buyers to empty nesters, active adults, which is our target demographic for this project, as well as second home buyers. And we're in urban and suburban markets. We have an apartment living group. We have a college housing group. So we build an array of homes across, everything from detached single-family houses to attached single-family homes, master plan golf course communities, urban low-rise, mid-rise, high-rise, and we principally develop and improve the land that we purchase. Our company owns and operates its own architectural department, our subsidiary, engineering subsidiary, mortgage, title, land development, land sale, golf course development, management, and landscape subsidiaries. The company also operates its own lumber distribution, housing component assembly, and manufacturing operations. A little bit of what we call a brag sheet. In 2019, we were named the world's most admired home building company by Fortune Magazine's survey of the world's most admired companies. It's our 5th year in a row, receiving this honor. We've also been named Builder of the Year by both Professional Builder Magazine and Builder Magazine, being its first 2-time recipient of that honor. According to the most recent UBS metro area rank by building permits, we were ranked number 1 in market share for the New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania markets. So let's pretty much take you through these two sides. So we've been building homes in New York for about 20 years. A little more than that, maybe 22, 24 years. We started in the mid-1990s. We've built 23, so to date, just in this lower Hudson Valley area, we've built out 23 communities and closed just over 1,300 homes in that time period. So with that, I'm going to bring up Casey Devlin, our Director of Land Development. He'll walk you through just a general description of the site location and the plan.
Thank you.
Just left and right.
The site plan next?
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, members of the board. Casey Devlin with Toll Brothers. Just walk you through our proposed site plan here. Our project will require a rezone. Right now, the property is in the R40 zone. We would be looking for a rezone to the R15, and then we would be looking for your approval to develop the property under the PAC floating zone, which is the active adult zone, which are discretionary town board actions. We are proposing 40 townhome units, active adult units. The PAC zone requires the units to be occupied by residents that are 55 and older. We are looking to have our primary access from Gatto Lane, which is the existing street. The dimensions of the property sort of dictate the layout here, where you have a road down the center of the property with townhome units on either side. We are looking to do a secondary or emergency access out to Highland Avenue. There's a 40-foot right-of-way that exists from the back property line of this parcel to Highland Avenue, which will allow that connection. So we are looking to do 2 points of connection here. In terms of utilities, all the utilities are available in Gatto Lane. We would be looking to connect to the town sewer system at the Gatto Lane intersection, which is about 100 feet from the property. We've been in touch with the town engineer in terms of a will serve letter, and that's something he's working through. Right now, just to give you a context, we're in contract on the property. We have 45 days or so left in our due diligence. So we are working with town staff and Orange and Rockland just to make sure, we have operational utilities to connect to. In terms of water, there's an existing 8-inch water main in Gatto Lane. Suez Water owns and operates that main. We've reached out to them for a similar will serve letter. We'd be looking to extend water from Gatto and into Highland Avenue. Stormwater, we're going to address, we're very preliminary at this stage, but we envision rain gardens in rear yards, subsurface infiltration, and a small detention basin up near our entrance at Gatto Lane to manage stormwater. In terms of zoning, we looked at the PAC bulk requirements. We're largely in conformance with the individual bulk requirements. We meet the minimum site acreage under the PAC, which is 10 acres. We are within the density limitations of 4 dwelling units per acre. We meet the open space requirement and the recreation requirement. For transparency, we will be looking for relief on certain setbacks. For example, the front yard setback along Gatto Lane, the code requires 100 feet. We are 25 feet to our nearest unit. The rear setback right now is proposed at 70 feet. The code requires 100 feet. And your western property line, right now our plan proposes a 75-foot setback. The code requires 100 feet. So we would be looking for latitude on those 3 setbacks. I think that covers it.
Okay, question for you. I think I asked you, and I can't see if it's on there. From, I guess, it's that Gatto Lane to the right of it, what would be the distance approximately from the property line to the nearest house, or from the back of the property to one of the neighboring properties?
So from the property line to our nearest residence on the right-hand side is 125 feet.
Okay.
So we meet the setback requirement on the right side.
Are these 2, 3 bedrooms?
What size unit?
What size, are they going to be 2 or 3 bedroom units?
Sure. So I'll walk you through some of the proposed architecture. So we've been building this product in, not only in the lower Hudson Valley, but really in the whole, Northeast for a really, prolonged period of time. We found it's really flexible. It services a pretty broad demographic of buyers, even within this active, quote unquote, active adult age group. Folks who are 55 versus those who are 70 or 75 have very different, living needs. So our homes, even though they're, some people will refer to them as townhomes, we feel like they live more as really attached single-family houses, and that's how we design them. So we feel that aesthetically that's how they present themselves too, particularly along the front. Not sure how the pointer works, but so these are what we would call the front elevations of those homes. Those front elevations of those homes are actually on the sides of those townhouse buildings. So this presents its front door, to the main street. These are large footprinted homes, right? They are 32 by 34 foot wide by anywhere from 65 to 75 feet deep. And that's really in order to accommodate all the things that people looking to, the term is downsize. We really find the more appropriate term is right size, right? Buyers are they're moving from a single family home typically, where they're sending their kids off to school. They may have, one last kid who's finishing their last years of high school or, still in college and living at home. And they're not looking to sacrifice, their living spaces that they've grown accustomed to and they enjoy, whether it's for day-to-day living or for entertaining, right? They want their big kitchens, they want their large master suites. So here's two representative footprints, and you can kind of see how these homes live. When you walk through the front door, again, they don't feel like townhomes, right? That you have foyers with turned staircases and two-story ceilings with large open kitchens, en suites on your first, your all first floor master bedrooms. So again, in order to accommodate these features in these homes, you are going to have a little bit larger of a footprint than you would traditionally see in a traditional attached townhome. We have a mix predominantly, with this product. Even with an age restriction, we find that most buyers are looking for 3 bedrooms, whether that's 2 official bedrooms with a den or really 3 bedrooms. That's really what they're looking for. They have their main living area and bedroom on the first floor, and then on the second floor is usually, again, some sort of entertaining space, and then guest bedrooms, for when their grandkids are over or their kids come to visit, or if they still have an older child living at home with them. Included some photos of some representative. So these are interior photographs of actually these 2 plans from projects that we've built in Westchester, and then from another project that is up, I believe, in Massachusetts. But as you can see, front door of the home, which is on the side of the building, right? When you walk in, a big turn stair to open 2-story foyer. We're really sensitive to these units that are in the center, right? The homes that are at the end of the building, those are those end units where you give a lot of windows you can work with, because you have 3 walls you can use to light the home. Those interior units, we typically grow them a little bit wider. Where the end units are 32 feet wide, those interiors will be 34 feet wide. So that allows us to create a little bit more, 2 feet makes a big difference in the size of a home, in the width. It allows you to have more lights or door openings and windows onto the rear of that home, which really opens the space up. That bottom right-hand picture, if you can see, this is your living area going out to an outdoor living space. So we have, as I mentioned earlier, we have a landscaping subsidiary, Toll Landscape. So even on this attached product, our customers are really doing a lot of customization on their outdoor living spaces and tying that outdoor living space to the inside living space of their home. So they're doing expansive, glass doors, outdoor kitchens, outdoor fireplaces, and with this product, 32 and 34 foot wide, you can really accommodate some really neat stuff on the exterior of the homes as far as patios and decks go.
Questions? I have a question. Has anyone done any outreach to any of the neighbors up there? Do you have any idea if anybody's?
No, so we're really this is pretty. We're still in some preliminary
stages, right?
But again, the way that we handle our applications, we are a very transparent company, and that's usually one of the first things that we do once we have our application ready to submit. We're going to do some outreach to the neighbors to understand if they have a particular concern, if we can incorporate that into our design, if it's something that we can address. We look to do that.
So you built a lot of these properties other places, and they're 55 and over, but with 3 bedrooms, 55-year-old people can still have young kids these days.
Sure.
Do you guys have an average of how many young?
Oh, yeah, we have a lot of data on this buyer. But then there's, this will fall underneath an HOA. So there are regulations that you incorporate into your HOA rules. So, a pretty common one will say that, look, you can't have anyone under the age, typically what runs with a 55 and older community, they'll say you can't have anyone under the age of 18 living in the home. And then if, some are more restrictive, and they'll say you can have, one child but what we find is that, people who are purchasing these homes in these types of communities, they have lifestyles that they're not, the community kind of self-polices itself too, right? I mean, it doesn't take long if there's somebody there who's got a 20-something-year-old kid who's just making their neighbors miserable, that kind of gets brought to the surface pretty quick.
So that'll be covered in the HOA?
Yeah, yeah, right. And so we'll utilize the town's local laws, and then we'll incorporate that into our offering plans. And then we'll put in some other, belt and suspender, good neighbor policies also. But yeah, we have samples and that we can share with the town too, and how it was handled in other places.
And then you'll have those as part of the deed that run with the land?
Correct, yeah.
And I know when we met, I asked you about the bonus unit, the affordable with bonus units, and you said that is not something that you're,
Correct.
they don't want it, so that's good, you don't need to. Okay, so no more questions. Jerry, you have any questions down there?
What's where is it going to be priced in terms of where are you going? Average price or
It's not
price?
going to be affordable.
Yeah, so the way that we sell our homes is we'll have a base price for a home, and we'll do some pretty, obviously deep market research to understand what we need to incorporate into that base finish spec of that home. But,
Have an idea of where that
yeah, we think we're going to be in the sixes.
600,000?
Yeah. But our buyers do a lot of customization. So we have a design studio that is up in Danbury that services our New York and Connecticut operations. It's about 5,000, 6,000 square foot design studio. And that's part of the buying process. Our buyers have the ability to go in there and choose pretty much anything and everything they can think of for fit and finish.
Now, one of the other things they had mentioned when I briefly went over this with the plan before is that you do have like a little clubhouse or something, a little something there.
Sure, there's a recreation component, right? Whether it's, so typically on a community of this low density, we would consider this a lower density community. We would not look to incorporate a significant shared amenity, only because the association has a hard time supporting it unless you get to like a critical mass of ownership. But we do recognize that there is a recreation component that needs to be incorporated
I think
into the
our town
plan.
code requires it. Okay. That's it? Okay, thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
We
you very
really
much.
appreciate it. Thanks for letting us go first.
No worries.
Okay, so for some, I see there's some new faces here. I'll tell you how we proceed. My eyes don't, We have a couple discussion items we're just going to talk about briefly. Then we're going to workshop the agenda, which means we're just going to briefly go through it and talk about it amongst ourselves. We may have questions for some department heads. And then we're going to open it up for public comment. So for those of you who haven't been here before, the rules are fairly straightforward. You get 3 minutes. You can talk about anything you want. Doesn't have to be something on the agenda. We just ask that you state your name and kind of where you're from. But the 3 minutes is not back and forth. It's not interactive. The town board's not going to get into answering questions. You can ask them, but we're not going to be responding. When everyone has said their time, no one has to say anything. The town board will respond if they choose. They may not. What I just always urge everybody is if it was something you didn't have answered, you want to, you can always email any one of us tomorrow or whatever and follow up. But we just don't get back into any back and forth with anyone speaking at the board. So with that, we're going to go on to the just 2 items of the discussion. The first one is I've been working very briefly with the town attorney. One of the things that during my campaign I talked about was the creation of a land trust or a community preservation fund. In light of some of the, what's going on around the county, preserving open space is a good thing. So we have started, basically the town attorney started looking at it. There's different models. One we're looking at is what Warwick has, where they basically have kind of a transfer fee that gets paid at a closing, and that goes into a fund which then can be used by the municipality to buy, when things come up for sale, to buy and preserve open space. So that's just one of the things the town attorney is going to be working on, and we'll be certainly sharing it with you guys as we learn it. The other item is the RFP to basically review and update our comprehensive plan. 2003, I believe, is when it was last done. It's long overdue. It's part of good planning. And, you see these people coming in asking for zone changes, and it's kind of done ad hoc. It should really be a comprehensive plan. So Clarkstown's in the middle. They're in the process of doing theirs. It's something that needs desperately to be done. So again, we're going to work on an RFP, and we'll send it along to you guys to look at and work with the town attorney on them. I'm keeping him busy. Anyway, but so that's those are the only two discussions. You guys, anybody have any questions on those? You want to ask Rob, or you good? Okay.
What's the percentage you talking about on the transfer fee on a purchase, just so I know?
Well, I mean, Warwick's is
High.
7.5, which is very high.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, so we haven't even gotten to that.
Right, and it's going to require special legislation and everything, but
In Albany, yeah.
Right, we'd have to get a state legislation.
yeah.
0.75, that's...
But there's how many around? There's a couple of municipalities that have it. It's not,
We also
That's
have a
$3,000-$4,000 when you're buying.
What's that?
recreation component on some of the development that's done.
the payment. You mean something right now, and they gave you the money towards the rec?
Yeah.
Well, that's usually on
Yeah.
a subdivision, larger
Yeah.
subdivision.
So you're saying Toll Brothers is going to pass for the land
Did they
trust?
leave yet? That's all the people that buy them are going to, right? Okay, so now we're just going to workshop. We have a couple, we're just setting the public hearing dates. We have amending our chapter on basically the Traffic Advisory Board, which has been in existence for some time, but I guess there was some questions about its organization and membership and procedures. So Dennis Michaels worked on it with Allison over here and with Mike Anazone, and they're going to basically clean up some of our local law on that. The next one is setting a public hearing date regarding the outdoor parking and storage of vehicles. This has to do with IRG and some other properties, Blue Hill, looking to, and again, Rob, I put him to work again. We're looking at some kind of special permit, but it's, he's working on it with Jane, yeah. So that's really only, basically really, really large parcels, and it can't be seen from the road, and, limitations on deliveries and,
Yeah, deliveries
Yeah.
and number of units, how close you can be to the property
Yeah.
line, stuff like
yeah.
that.
The idea may be for, a time limit, 6 months, a year, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
has to be renewable upon request, but not locked into renewing it.
Depending upon the impact on the neighborhood.
Okay, next one is declaration of intention for us to serve as lead agency in that. Number 9 is setting the schedule for the department budget presentations. We're going to have fun. That's a Saturday at 8 a.m. we're starting. Number 10, we may need Jane to come up and speak to us on. This has to do with the proposal regarding the new town hall. And I'm guessing that a lot of things were kind of put as contingencies if we wanted to do them or not.
I guess one of my questions I have, do we really want to be setting public hearings in the middle of August? Or
But that did come up,
at least on the outdoor parking and storage, you might have neighbors against that aren't going to be around.
right, well, it's not specific properties, you can do one of two things.
All right.
It's been in the hopper for a little bit, so we can continue the public hearing that day.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
especially if it's,
There'll be plenty of hearings on it if somebody applies for a special permit. But
Okay.
it may have public interest, so if
You
you
want me
want to
to-
continue it, you can.
All right, sounds good.
Speak to that one quickly?
Yeah, please, could you?
I'm not sure if the board actually received it because I know we just put this on yesterday. But I did do a study and the tax assessor helped out with this and we were able to do a list of the properties and the acres that each property is. And we were talking about at least 20 acres and above. And most of those properties would be at least 500 feet from any residential zone. The largest property we have is the Pearl River campus at 180 acres, and then we go down from there. Pearl River campus wants to definitely look into doing that, as well as Blue Hill. They'd also like to do that as well. Now, Blue Hill, I know, is, I think, at about 50% occupancy right now, so this would help them to offset some of the losses that they've experienced. So there's about 19 properties that are 20 acres and above that would fit into that. So it's LIO, OP, LI, and LO zoning. And right now, again, storage of vehicles that are unregistered and don't have license plates are not permitted. The two requests that did come in were for, storage of cars to be sold with dealerships. And the only place that can happen is if it's actually tied to a car dealership like Subaru is. There are lots across the street. So that's why we were looking at that. And I did do a map that I can share with the town board that shows those properties and locations. And again, we just did this map recently, so
Yeah,
I don't think you
yeah.
guys got to see it today.
Please do.
But we can have that up and available for the public to see when we get to that. All right, so that's that one. What's next?
The town hall, Lothrop.
Okay, so as everyone knows, we are almost completed with, my glasses keep sliding.
I know, they get foggy, that's the problem.
They don't stand. Almost completed with the drawings for the town hall, which has been an ongoing project for a little over a year now. There are some portions of a project when it goes out to bid that aren't necessarily included and are sometimes done directly by the owner, independent of the design professionals. And that's what you have before you. We have 3 different proposals, one for IT, which is all the computer wiring that would go throughout the building and tie back into the existing building. Obviously, it's extremely critical to the operations of the town, and that was definitely demonstrated with this pandemic. So the idea is to get a company, a subconsultant that specializes in IT. And we've done that and obtained a proposal with talking to Matt and Anthony from, Town IT. So that is one of the proposals that you see that's dated April 4th. Then we have geotechnical services. That is when they do borings of the earth where the building's going to go. They take those samples, they're evaluated in a lab, and then your structural capacity, the bearing capacity of the soil is determined, and they use that to design the foundation and the structure of the building. And again, that's typically not done until we know the layout of the building, and obviously in the early designs of it, no one knew where the building was going, so you couldn't determine how many soil borings would be required and where they'd be. So that's the March 23rd proposal. And the secret process, which again, for many large projects that go before our planning board, SECRA makes a determination on the environmental effect of the project. So it's critical that it's done for a project of this scale. I think originally we talked about possibly, which was almost 2 years ago, Rob, correct me if I'm wrong, with the town doing it themselves, but it was determined based on the scale of the project that it would be best to outsource that so that it's fair and just and not someone from the town. It would end up being Rob's office and my office doing it. So that's the third proposal, and those are the 3 before you. So in order to complete the construction plans and prepare the bid package to go out, the design professionals need these 3 things completed. So yeah, unless someone has questions.
We met, we talked about it, I was good with it. There was some other stuff we put on hold for now, but these are the 3 that there was
Right, so there's two other things that are outstanding and of concern, but they don't prohibit us from building the town hall, is the demolition of the original portion of the building that most likely does contain stuff that has to be taken care of and more, just, you can't just go knock the building down, you have to contain it. So that would be an asbestos abatement and hazardous materials study. So I had asked for proposals from the design professionals for the study, as well as to create an estimate of what that demolition cost would be. So we kind of put that on hold, because we can build the entire addition of the town hall without necessarily having taken that building down. It'll be a while. Right, at least the construction will take probably about a year and a half. So that's off in the future between bidding and then construction to completion of town hall and relocating everybody out of this building over to that side. And again, that's just the original rectangular portion.
Basically, though, we need this to have
An answer to make an educated decision on whether we're even considering going forward, because you need to know how much it's going to cost. You can't
Right.
find out how much it's going to cost until you get a real construction plan.
Right, so that we've been
Goes out
doing
for
the budgeting along, all along as the town board was involved in through the whole process and selecting the concept of which direction to go. So we're still in that budget range, but to go out for a formal bid, we have to complete the three that are before you tonight. And again, if you don't move forward with the town hall, then we don't need the asbestos abatement study and demolition study. So they can wait at this point.
And at that point, the building may just fall down anyway, so we don't have to worry about it.
The big question is the design that was presented, do they make sense given the current situation? I think it was all open space, where that may not be the way to go in this atmosphere where everything's opened up. Is that a design that the town wants right now? Like a lot of the corporations and the businesses in the city are retrofitting their buildings to make it more closed-off spaces so that people have distance. So I don't know that concept is the concept we're going to want to go with right now.
Well, I don't think the footprint will necessarily change. All of the town departments in the new design are provided with the security glazing. So by default, you have separation from public to private, which everyone knows we had to run around and put up plexiglass at all the customer service counters. That is designed into the new concept. Conceptually, yes, the floor plans were open floor plans within each office department, and each department had their own office. So that can be looked at again as to what happens. So now, do we just put up partitions between the desks? That would be the next level. Other than that, conceptually, the design of the building works. You have your public side, and then all of the town workers are separated
But
safely.
we also furloughed a lot of workers where they would only be coming in every other week, every other 2 weeks.
That's assuming the pandemic is going to be on
Well,
forever.
We were furloughed
It's
for
going to be 4 years.
6
Well,
weeks.
what I'm saying is, we're going to be spending, what, $25 million? I hope we get it right. Hope we get it right. It's a lot of money. We don't plow through just thinking it's going to be the same.
Well, I don't think we're plowing through, Tom. This
Well,
project was
I've never been a big fan of the project.
Well, I understand that, but can I address your concern?
So I can understand, are you thinking it should just be,
No, I'm just saying,
because that building's got to go.
what I'm saying is,
There's no-
what we've decided, what was decided may not be the best for the town, given the current situation, and that's all I'm saying.
Right, so.
That's
in re-
today. We'll look at that again, Tom.
Okay,
and
thanks, Dennis.
I am a proponent of this. I've been here 20 years, and I agree with Teresa.
right.
Keep going the way we're going, it's going to fall down on its own.
So again, we're 75% complete, or I should say, the design professionals are 75% complete. We'll never know the real cost of it until we bid it out. Now, we can backtrack and start redesigning, but you're going to spend that cost in redesign at this point when we don't know what that answer is. And everybody knows this is changing weekly, daily, by the minute. So, yeah, by the time we go to bid, maybe the pandemic will be worse. By the time we go to construction, maybe this will all be over and they'll have a vaccination. Who knows? But to throw away 75% work that's been done and not have that answer, I don't think that would be
I
in the
don't think
best
you're gonna
interest.
have the answer
We have
if it's done.
situation, this building is in trouble. The building department itself is not fully handicapped accessible. We have no plumbing facilities for the public. And not for nothing, we should be up here. We're part of the town, there's constant, I mean, normally,
No, I
before the
hear you.
pandemic, I was up and back and forth every day, so I could meet with
I
the
mean, right now,
people
you're
up
telling
here.
us Blue Hill, you have options at Blue Hill now, it's 50% open.
I believe that was studied, so if that's another study that the board wants to consider, of course, it's always an option,
I'm
but
just
that was
saying.
studied as part of the,
That was in the preliminary study.
Yeah.
But the difference is, if you have the appropriate footprint, you can always put in dividers and go back to the old cube way of life if that's what's needed in 4 years when this may be actuality.
No.
yeah, and again, I don't know that we can, even with alternating, who's in the department at what time, if you have a 1 week off and one rotating schedule, I don't know that would considerably make the footprint of the building much smaller.
I don't know. I'm just saying, these are
You know,
things to
I mean, we
consider.
already scaled it down. I mean, working with Chris and the board last time, we looked at shared services. So that's part of this plan. So there was already positions that were cut that became shared services. Now, could that happen again? Yes, but many things can change in the next year or two. But again, we're 75% to completion and ready to go to bid. It'd be a shame to throw that back on the shelf.
I agree.
Okay,
Okay?
I'm good. Thank you.
You don't have to need me for anything. Oh, wait, this is
Okay. The next item is, this is as of today, actually, the museums can open again. Our museum is not opened yet, but we're going to bring back the curator who we had furloughed. She's coming back July 20th, so that they can, basically, they have an exhibit that they want to get up and going, so we're going to bring her back as of July 20th. This is the memorializing resolution that, I don't know, Dennis, you want to speak to this, or? Well, it's the Paul Bohevsky.
Yeah, I was, back in 1980 or 81, 1980, a girl in Pearl River was brutally murdered and assaulted right off of the Central Avenue up on Washington Avenue. 2 gentlemen were put in jail, were found guilty, and the town in the last 12 years has always backed the family, Paula Bohevsky, mom, Lois, where we've gotten petitions, where we've had resolutions from the town, also resolutions from the county, petitioned the DA. The DA has been very supportive, both the prior DA and the current DA. And last year, Robert LaBera, who was from Pearl River, was going to be paroled. And it turned out, and we tried to fight that, he was paroled, except for what he did when he was just let out of jail. He was up in Buffalo, and one of his restrictions was he couldn't drink. And about 3 days into his parole, he was drunk up there, and I don't think he did anything, but he's back in jail. He is potentially going to be back out again. The other guy, McCain, was a lifelong criminal. We, in another year from now, would have to fight his parole. But we depend on the people in the community to support Lois Bohevsky. She's in her 80s. She doesn't want to be afraid if this guy LaBarbera gets out, particularly if he gets out and is allowed to come down here into the Hudson Valley. We would like to see him, if he does get out, that he's somewhere far north of here or far south of here. So that's what this resolution does.
Thank you.
Presently, he's in Peekskill, so that's too close to us.
I don't, yeah, that's where he's supposed to be released to Peekskill.
Right.
But, yeah, right now he's up in Buffalo someplace.
Yeah, we want him to go back to
Jail.
Buffalo if he has to
Yes.
get out.
Buffalo is close enough. We want him kept up there if that's where he's going to be.
Okay.
Thank you, Jerry.
The next thing is tax certiorari. And again, it does have, I know you're always asking, it does say that the school district approved of it at their April 7th meeting. We have a certificate of sewer registration. We have, they come in. 15 is the retainer agreement with Keenan Bean. This is in regard to the federal lawsuit filed by Aloof against the town. I don't know, does anybody have any, Rob, you want to talk about it? Anybody have any questions?
Right, that's the latest federal lawsuit that came in, similar to the current pending state lawsuit. So Keenan Bean is handling that. I think it makes sense for them to continue this. We've notified our carrier, insurance carrier, there's $25,000 self-insured retention on that. So anything above the $25,000 is covered by insurance.
Okay, I saw that you sent over the letters and everything.
Yeah,
Yep, okay. The next one is a hold harmless. This has to do with the funeral home. I guess they have some kind of awning or something that's going into
Yeah,
the
they have
town.
an awning on the
Town's
front
right
entrance.
away.
It's been
Right,
there forever.
right.
but-
So this is just highway. Nobody says it's okay, so they're just giving us a hold harmless agreement. The next two are performance bonds, basically accepting and improving performance bonds for this property in Palisades. They're both related to a subdivision. What is this? 19 is the creation of a French Creole-speaking police officer. We talked about this, I guess, at the last meeting. We had to create the position before the chief can start to do some investigation and start considering looking for an officer. So that's, we're just creating the position there. Rob will have to speak to this one. This just came on, approving a memorandum of understanding of the County of Rockland Regional Investigative Resource Center.
Right, again, that's I guess I'll ask the chief maybe to chime in on this, but that's an agreement between the county and the town and several other police departments for, in essence, shared services, things such as the drug task force, the intelligence center. I'm missing one.
It also is any investigation where we give them resources, it's so that we can be part of any thing that occurs from it, whether it be seizure money or something like that. So if things that aren't even out there yet, it allows us to be part of the movement. We've had ones in the past where we've used Spanish-speaking officers and things like that. So it just gives us the authority to be part of that.
Okay. 21 is our, wait, I got to get this right, our 2020 Orange Bike Road Family Bike Day. Get it? It's a play on Orangeburg. I didn't do it, no. I didn't do it. Barrick did it, and we said it doesn't. Anyway, July 19th, basically it should be fun for the family. They're going to have biking along Orangeburg Road, and then basically they need some, showing what they need assistance with there, so some porta-johns and things. So it should be fun if you're around. 22 and 23 are memorial benches, one for Connor Grant and one for Barry Foreman. One is at Veterans, and the other one is at Sparkhill Playground. 24 is awarding contract to, this has to do with the playground equipment at Pilgrim Court and Tappan Park, basically to Miracle Recreation. This was the carryover from the last ones we were working on. 25, so 25 is, the governor allowed each municipality to grant extensions, basically, for certain filings for, before the planning board, ZBA and things like that. We can do up to 120 days or as few as 60, Rob? 30,
Well,
60?
I think right now the building department is, in essence, doing 60.
Doing
because,
60?
Yeah, that about 8-week prohibition on construction. But that particular law allows for municipalities, it said, to extend the expiration date for building permits, ZBA approvals, and planning board approvals for up to 120 days.
So I said 120.
I agree with Teresa.
Okay. We got two. Everybody okay with 120? Okay. So that's what that
Did
says.
you want to say? Jane wants to say.
The question I would have, and I did mention this to Rob, it only addresses applications prior to the March 7th, when the governor's orders first came down. The problem is we do have stuff that was issued during the shutdown, and they were told they had to hold on. So right now, what he's saying only applies to everything from March 7th prior. So any permits that were issued, any board applications that received approval can get that 120.
And that we're active on March 7th.
That were active, right. So you couldn't come in if your building permit expired on February 1st. You can't come in now and say you want the 120 days. What we would do is give them the 8 weeks, because that's when construction was shut down. And we had talked about that,
Right.
that would be fair.
Right.
So anything that was issued after March 7th, they should actually only receive the 8 weeks. I want everybody to be aware of that. This
This only applies to
prior,
applications that are
March
pending,
7th and prior.
Whatever.
So I don't know if the town board can do anything about that or not. I leave that to legal.
Does this cause you a backlog because, some of those permits are still sitting around and you have other ones coming in?
No, we kept going. We
So-
kept going. In the worst part of it, I had held the permits and said, we'll release them when the governor releases that was in the height of the shutdown. Because he had gotten down to the point where you can only do construction with one person. So nobody really wanted to do it anyway. Nobody wanted contractors in their houses and things like that. We did release them. We gave everybody the notifications from the governor. And then, I think it was March 28th or 26th, he finally lifted the restrictions on construction. You still have to social distance, but basically you go back to having somewhat of a normal job site. So that was the 8 weeks. So we've been telling everybody 8 weeks at this point that will be added on to the end if they need it. Some people come in, our building permits are good for 2 years. But there might be some people that might, get to that 2-year mark and have had a problem. Maybe they couldn't get a contractor in a timely fashion because of the situation. So if that can just be a policy within the department and we have it be the 8 weeks, we'll just add it to the end. And we marked all the permits that they were issued during the shutdown, so we know which ones they are. But I just want the board to be aware, it's not the ones, this governor's order does not address the ones that were issued after March 7th.
Right. Okay. Okay, next one is, it's a hookup from a property on Marycrest, basically, into the sewer system. I guess they're on septic now. And then we
I
have,
think they're going out of district. We got to approve.
yeah, we have to do, they're, right, it's through us to the county,
So
whatever,
they can do
yeah.
the county, and then
Yeah.
they got to pay the county.
Yeah, the sewer people took care of it. They said, yeah, we got it, it's good, just pass this resolution. It's
I got
okay.
many calls on it.
Oh, really? Okay, then we're going to do the audit. So we can go into open the public comment. Can I get a motion to open the public comment?
So moved.
Second.
That was, that was Dennis? And then you got Tom? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I only have one person signed up, so we'll start with Barbara Dello. Carmel's going to take care of the clock for us because we don't have our regular clock.
Hi, I'm Barbara Dello. I'm from Blauvelt. I had a couple of comments or questions. There was a request for a zone change about the Nyack College property, and the question I have is, because they were requesting a zone change that would have allowed multifamily units, as well as single-family units. And I think it's kind of in limbo because they didn't initially get it and they're appealing. But I wondered, part of Nyack College is in Blauvelt apparently, and I wondered if there's protective zoning for the non-park areas of land in Blauvelt and Orangeburg that would keep it residential. I think a lot of it is 2-acre zoning. And I wondered if, going forward, particularly with changes to the comprehensive plan, whether it will be kept low density for the Blauvelt part of Clausen Mountain. Second thing, oh, you already answered that. Then second thing then would be, at the last meeting, many residents, a special meeting, spoke about doing for the hamlets. They spoke about Pearl River, and they said, in fairness, we should also have Nyack and Tapan and things like that. So as president of the Blauvelt Orangeburg Republican Club, I wanted to say, please don't forget some of the other unincorporated areas, as you do for areas of the town. Downtown Blauvelt's looking a little bit dilapidated with empty storefronts and things. And I wondered if you had something for like Tapan, whether it could kind of be incorporated with the other hamlets. Then the third thing is senior clubs. There's a senior citizens advisory board, and I was interested in it because I'm interested in the welfare of seniors. And I thought it was for the seniors of the town. But after I learned more, I found out that, in fact, the Senior Citizens Advisory Board can only deal with issues of the senior citizens clubs and cannot concern itself with the issues of any of the other seniors in the town. So I just wanted to bring that up to make sure everyone was aware that, in fact, the Senior Citizens Advisory Board does not concern itself with the senior citizens of the town, but only the funding for the senior clubs. And I wondered if, as you relook at the comp plan, whether...
So Barbara, time's up. You can finish your statement, but just...
Okay. I just wondered whether there was going to be an overall goal for that in terms of density in the town. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else want to speak?
Good evening, Supervisor Kenny and the Orangetown Town Board. My name is Adam O'Gorman, and I am I'm here not only as a commercial broker, real estate broker, but I'm also here as a resident of Orangetown for 36 years. I'm here tonight to ask for your help. A lease was signed across the street at Pearl Plaza for a neighborhood pharmacy. They have decided to pull out because it has taken 6 months to try and get some type of movement on a building permit. I'm asking your help to get a response from Director Jane Slavin regarding an email that was sent on February 14th regarding a pre-existing non-conforming use. The building across the street has 4 uses over there that are not in that zone, because I asked Jane what happens if that building is built before zoning. No response. An email was sent to the board as well as CC'd to Jane on June 30th. No response. An email was sent yesterday. No response. I understand that there is a pandemic, but there's no communication from Jane regarding that. I do believe that the residents of Orangeburg would like a pharmacy. There's a Facebook post on April 16th of 2019 that says, what is a good pharmacy around here? I've been using CVS in Orangeburg since I was a kid, and I'm exhausted with incompetence. There's 95 comments. I expect that as something that the public wants. But unfortunately, with the lack of communication with Jane, we couldn't get this together. And right now, the pharmacy did pull out, unfortunately. Thank you.
Thanks. Anybody else want to speak? Mike?
Mike?
Good evening, Supervisor Kenny and members of the town board. Michael Mandel from Pearl River. Just a couple of items. Regarding La Barriera's parole, is there a petition out there? I know in the past there's been petitions. Is there an online petition?
No, this just came up. We did not do the petitions this time.
Okay, so there won't be one. Okay. Secondly, and I was talking to Eileen Larkin earlier today, and she had a question, but she can't make it tonight, regarding that Nyack College sale. With the possibility, and I don't know if there's zoning, I think it's covered by what, South Nyack and Nyack property? Okay. With their zoning laws or whatever, if there's increased usage or increased residential usage, does that college parcel partly or fully lie within the Orangetown sewer district? And if so, does the Orangetown sewer district have the capacity to handle additional sewage for treatment? That will cost us a lot more money. Since Nyack is always hitting us up for sewers, this is, just follow along. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
That's a good question.
Goodness. Anybody else?
Right there.
My name is Patricia DeGraw, and I'm a resident of Blauvelt, and I have 3 children attending South Orangetown School District, which I love. I grew up here, and I love the area. I also want to make a comment on Nyack College and all the rumors that are going around. And I know nothing's certain yet, but I want to know what Orangetown is doing to maybe research the positive and negative effects that can happen from the sale of Nyack College to our residents, to the school district, and how is it going to affect our everyday life and our taxes. And I don't know how, it's my first time and how to go upon finding out stuff, but I've been making a lot of phone calls to a lot of representatives and see what people can do. And I've talked to a lot of people in the area, a lot of moms, parents, and a lot of them are unaware. And when they find out, they don't want it to affect, taxes negatively. So that's my comment.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak? No? Okay, we got a motion to close by Dennis Troy.
Second.
Tom Divany, second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, so I'm just going to briefly tell you what I can about the Nyack College. No, what's his name that used to be here? The Nyack College sale or not sale. It's a private transaction. There is no public record of what the deal is or who it is. There's a lot of rumor, a lot of innuendo. I've been in constant communication with the mayor of South Nyack. I've spoken with Ed Day. I've spoken with people involved in the first transaction. I don't know how much is reliable. A lot of them are under fiduciary duties not to talk about it, not to do anything that could damage the deal. I don't think, and again, this is what I'm piecing together from when I talk to people, that there's nothing that's a done deal yet. As far as again, we don't even know if all the parcels are included in it, because there are parcels, one in Clarkstown, and then we have our 21-acre R80 zoned parcel in Orangetown, which is not in South Nyack. We don't know if that's included. So for full disclosure, we had been approached, the town, 2 months ago from a developer who was looking to put high-end condos there. And we didn't really get too far, and then this news broke. I've had conversations to see if, what's happening with them. They say they were in negotiations to buy it, but it's kind of gone silent, which leads us to believe maybe it's included. So, we're monitoring it. I know the village, I think they're actually South Nyack's having a special meeting tomorrow. They're having a meeting tomorrow night. They've hired special counsel, supposed to be very, I don't know if you know Harrington, but he's supposed to be top notch. I know that there have been meetings going on, starting as of yesterday. I have a call tomorrow with the mayor, and I'm trying to stay on top of it as much as I can. But, as a municipality, we risk interfering and getting hit with, some kind of lawsuit too. So we all have to be careful about what we're saying and doing. But everybody's aware of it, and everybody is, paying attention. It's not that anybody's not. So that's what I can say about Nyack College. I don't know if anybody else has anything they want to say.
Just, Teresa's correct. There was a developer looking to buy the Blauvelt parcel, and I've been talking to that developer, and they're basically, crickets are being heard from the Nyack College. They are no longer in negotiation for the Orangetown parcel.
And the only parcel that we can control the zoning on, because they'd have to come for a zoning change if they wanted to do something other than what it's already zoned for, which I think is 2 acre.
Yeah, R80.
R80, yeah. So that's the only piece we can control, which is a small piece of that large college, 20-some acres, if I'm 21 acres. So right now, it's basically zoned for 10 single-family homes. If they want to do something different, they have to come before the Orangetown board. But the rest of the property is out of our control.
So just, again, first of all, I would tell you, don't believe everything you read. That I can tell you. And, right now, the college it's not on the tax rolls. There's no taxes being paid. I know that the first proposal that was presented to South Nyack did involve putting properties back on the tax roll. Again, speaking from things I'm kind of reading between the lines, I don't know that that deal is completely dead. So I think we just have to all, I know everybody's, I mean, we're getting panic calls. I know as much as I'm getting, I know the mayor in South Nyack said that it's just the phone doesn't stop and whatever. So I think we have to have a little bit of patience, but do know that we are, again, I mean, it's every day. I'm on the phone, finding out what I can find out and trying to keep the board up to date. So I do just want to mention two things that Barbara mentioned. The comprehensive plan, it will involve public input. It's not, we're not going to, there's a lot of hearings. It's really to come up what is best for our community as a whole. So there'll be plenty of time for people to comment on specific items. And then just back to the comment about doing for Pearl River. Ironically, that event got canceled, so we did, nothing got done for Pearl River. But we have actually been reaching out to other parts of the town. We're looking at doing a taste to pan or some kind of thing. We've talked to the restaurants. We've been working with, Meg Mayo from the Village of Nyack has been very instrumental in our committee. So we've been trying to really reach out to other parts of the town and bring them in either as part of an event or their own separate days. So we have definitely not forgotten about them.
Just to add to that,
yeah.
Teresa was reaching out to Pearl River, but we can reach out. The business owners have to respond, and they're not always in agreement, and that's what we learned from the Pearl River event. Certain people you might be talking to might say they represent the downtown business as a whole, but we learned that wasn't the case, and that's why they didn't have the events in Pearl River the last 2 weeks.
No good deed goes unpunished. That's what I'm going to say.
So I'm sure Teresa and her Kickstart Orangetown is going to reach out, but the business owners got to work with the town.
Yeah. And they've been good. Carmel and Allison went down. They walked around Tapan and knocked on doors and spoke to the business owners down there to see what they wanted, so that we didn't have a repeat of what happened in Pearl River. So, anyway, okay.
I'm the liaison to the seniors, to the senior club, and there are senior clubs from every municipality that come to their meetings once a month here, and Barbara has graciously been on the committee for the last several months. In terms of people not in the senior clubs and seniors in terms of what's available to the seniors, Rockland County, the county government has the Office of the Aging. There are different programs that are available in the county that takes care of seniors in general. And I don't think it's something that the town needs to be involved in, other than the fact that we do support our senior clubs. That's one of the things that we do. Thank you.
Jerry, you good? He's at the little boy table down there. Okay, so then we're going to get on to moving here. Okay, so can I get a motion set today for the public hearing regarding amendment to the Traffic Advisory Board?
Moved.
Okay. Tom Divany, second? I'll second it. All in favor? Seemed like such an easy one. Okay. And the next one, to set a public hearing date of August 18th at 7:25 for the proposed amendment to Town Code regarding the special permit for outdoor parking and storage of vehicles. Can I get a motion?
Jerry, and I'll second.
Jerry Vittori made a motion. He said aye. He said aye. Dennis Troy seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so I guess the next one's the declaration of intention of the town board to serve as lead agency pursuant to SECRA with regard to the amendment of the town code regarding the storage, special permit for outdoor storage of vehicles. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Paul, Tom, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, set the date for a special town board meeting of September 12th at 8 a.m. for the department head budget presentations. Can I get a motion?
I'll make that, but I think it's important that the public realizes every year we've done this, where the entire town board meets with each of the departments, and the departments tell us what their priorities are, what their challenges are for the next year, And this year, there's going to be a lot of challenges because of the pandemic and the effect that it's had on our employees and on our departments. So that meeting is a very important meeting on September 12th. So.
And things are so bad that everyone has to bring their own coffee. No coffee this year on the town.
No donuts, no nothing.
No donuts, no nothing. Okay, so Dennis moved it, I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, accept proposal from Lothrop Associates for the additional work that's set forth in the resolution. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, Dennis Troy seconded. I got Paul moved it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Tom, what is it?
Is that? All right, guys, I can. Okay, so the next one is to bring back, basically, I don't know if that unfurlough is a word, but to bring back the town curator employee 4243 effective July 20th. I'll make a motion for that. Can I get a second?
Jerry.
Jerry Batari, second. All in favor? Memorial resolution regarding Paula Bohefsky to send to the parole board and to Governor Cuomo. And Dennis, you're going to move that? Dennis Troy moved it. Second?
I'll second.
Who said that, Paul?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Approve and authorize Dennis Michaels as Deputy Town Attorney to sign the settlement documents in a tax certiorari proceeding for 134 North Broadway. I'm not even going to try and say that name. Can I get a motion?
I'll make it. That's fine.
Okay. Dennis Troy made a motion. Second? Tom Diviny, all in favor? Aye. Jerry, we're putting you down for everything. Okay. Okay. Approve the 2020 Certificate of Sewer Registration for TAL Services LLC on Erie Street in Blauville. Can I get a motion?
Jerry.
Paul made it. Jerry second. All in favor? Aye. Authorized retainer agreement with Keenan Bean in the lawsuit of API Industries, Aloof versus the town, and against Teresa Kenny in her official capacity as town supervisor.
So you can't.
So I can't make the motion. I get a motion? Tom Diviny made a motion.
I'll gladly second that.
Dennis Troy second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, resolution to grant a covenant hold harmless and indemnification agreement with Source of Sumer Shanky Funeral Home on Summit Street in Pearl River. Can I get a motion? Dennis Troy, move. Second. Paul Valentine, all in favor? Aye. Accept, receive, and file for performance bond for the Bergson subdivision plat. I didn't say anything about it, really. I said it's just basically for the development of certain property located at 56 Woods Road in Palisades. Can I get a motion?
Moved.
Tom Diviny, second.
Jerry.
Jerry Batari, all in favor? Aye. Approve consent to incorporation of the Woods Road Sewage Works Corporate, accept, receive, and file sewage works performance bond. Motion. Tom Diviny, good. Second, Jerry Batari. All in favor? Aye. I kept it consistent. Create a position for police officer, French Creole speaking. I'll make a motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Paul Valentine, all in favor? Aye. Approve memorandum of understanding with the county relating to Regional Investigative Resources Center. Can I get a motion? That was Jerry. Jerry moved it.
I'll second.
Dennis Troy seconded. All in favor? Aye. Okay, approve lead aid for the 2020 Orange Bike Road Family Bike Day for Sunday, July 19th. I'll make a motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Paul Valentine, all in favor? Aye. What are you guys, anti-bike or something? What the heck? I look, you know. Accept donation from a memorial bench at Veterans Memorial Park engraved with in loving memory of Connor Grant from 10/9/1992 to 10/1/2017. Can I get a motion? Dennis Troy, second. Paul Valentine, all in favor? Aye. Accept the donation of memorial bench to be placed at the Spark Hill Playground. Engraving will read, in honor of Barry G. Foreman, USAF, Barry's Bench. Can I get a motion?
Sure.
Jerry Batari, move. Second.
Second.
Tom Diviny, second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, award the contract to Pettinelli Recreation, Miracle Recreation, under the contract for the playground equipment at Pilgrim Court and Tapan Park. I'll make a motion. Can I get a second? Jerry Batari, all in favor? Aye. He raised his hand. Okay. Approval for the extension of the expiration dates for land use approvals, building permits, ZBA, and planning board approvals under the governor's executive order for 120 days. Can I get a motion? Tom Divity moved it. Dennis Troy seconded it. All in favor? Aye. Authorize 2 Marycrest Road, Monica Alexandra, out-of-district sewer connection. Tom, you want to move that?
Moved.
Tom Divity moved. I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
The audit for tonight's meeting consists of 6 warrants for $2.7 million. The first warrant had 46 vouchers for $340,000. Items of interest: number 1, Jet Industries, $211,000 for sewage plant equipment, and that's bonded money. Number 2, NIPA, $22,000 for the streetlight project. Number 4, Scalise and Hamilton, $24,000 for outside counsel. And the second warrant had 11 vouchers for $139 and was for safety shoes. The third warrant had 10 vouchers for $87,000. Items of interest: number 1, Chazen Engineering, $8,000 for traffic signal replacement. The fourth warrant had 63 vouchers for $1.6 million. Items of interest: number 2, the CSEA Employee Benefit Fund, $31,000 for dental insurance. Number 4, Department of Civil Service, $1.5 million for June and July health care benefits. Then the fifth warrant had 215 vouchers for $218,000 and was for Medicare reimbursements. The sixth warrant had 199 vouchers for $468,000. Items of interest: number 5 and 6, the applied golf contracts. Number 10, Goosetown, $28,000 for police equipment leases. Number 15, Slack Chemical, $25,000 for sewer chemicals. And number 16, the state comptroller, $31,000 for justice fines. Any questions on the audit?
I have a question. I don't know if you're going to be able to answer it, and it's not a big deal, but number 7, the Big Wave International, it's for drive-in movie night.
Yes.
Do you know, I know he said that then we would offset that with, because he charged for, oh, he's here. Hiding in the, real quick, it's not a biggie, I just was curious. But is that then, this is the total and then you collected money that offsets this? Okay, so that doesn't include, okay.
I got a quick question. How do you have 11 vouchers for $139 for safety shoes? What are you paying, like $6 a shoe?
I'm sorry, that's a typo. It should have been 1 voucher.
I'm just going to send my guys there.
Yep.
I was going to go get shoes there too.
I'm good, but not that good.
Okay, so we are going to go into an executive session to discuss proposed and pending or current litigation. But we
got to
Move to accept the
sorry,
audit.
I do that every time. Okay, move to, who moved it? Paul?
Tom.
Tom?
Paul second.
Okay. All right, okay. Every time I want to get past that. Okay.
All in favor?
He said, I said, everyone 5 aye, and I just wrote it down. Okay. So we have a couple of adjournments. Frank Dobbs from Tapan, Marion Louise Dolan from Pearl River, and Joan, I don't know how you say this, Nay from Pearl River. So we are going to go into an executive session. We are not going to vote when we come out, so there'll be no votes taken. So we can basically vote to go into executive session and adjourn in these members. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Dennis Troy moved. Tom Diviny second. All in favor? Aye. Where are we going?